Somerset. We've been driving through Somerset today, and we've seen some lovely old traditions going on in the countryside. I seen a man kissing the cow's ass. And I thought it's an old Somerset tradition for sure. I said, whatever are you doing kissing the cow's ass? He said, I got terrible chapped lips. I said, that cure chapped lips? He said, no, but it will stop you licking them for a minute. And then there was another man shagging the sheep. Oh, hell. I didn't want to seem rude. I said, good afternoon. I said, are you shearing that sheep? No, he said, you catch one of your own. And then there was another man tealing seeds. He'd put in a few seeds, and then he put the packet in his pocket and wave his cock at the seeds. Then he put in a few more, and he'd get his cock out again. I said, what the hell is he doing? It's obviously a Minehead trick. I said, whatever are you doing? Get in your cock out. He said, I'm following the instructions on the packet. It says there, teal thinly and prick out every foot. But I want to see a farmer. New Ilminster. Is anybody from Ilminster? Is there? Well, don't let the electric lights frighten you. But I got there, and his wife said he'd be back in 10 minutes. I said, I'll wait outside. Well, there's a well outside in the farm. So I threw a little pebble down the well. Never heard a bloody thing. Nothing. Christ, I thought, that's deep. Well, I found the concrete block. I threw that bugger down. Nothing. I said, shit, that is some bloody deep. Well, it was a railway sleeper there. An 8-foot railway sleeper. I threw that bugger down. And Christ, I heard him go. Then I looked as a bloody goat, and he had his head down, and he was after me, the bastard. And I jumped right out of the way, and the bloody goat jumped right down the bloody well, the bloody right. On this, the vicar come, the farmer, he come back. Not the vicar, that's the vicar. That's a different man again. That's a different man. That's the vicar. The farmer. Yeah, you bastards are winning with that. Yeah. Start the car. The farmer come back, he said, you haven't seen a goat? I said, no. Well, he said, he can't be gone very far. He said, I've tied him to a sleeper. And Denzel, and bloke, was a hell of a great bloke there with a woman. He went out for a piddle, and Denzel went up to her. He said, I'd like to suck your tits. Then he said, I'd like to pull your knickers off. She said, you wait till my husband come back, he'll bloody kill you. And then he said, I'd like to put you to stand on your head and fill your Fanny up with Guinness and drink the bloody lot. Right, she said, you bloody wait till he get back. And he come back, he was a nasty-looking bastard. 8'3" he was. Former lifeguard for Butlins. He couldn't swim, but he could walk out hell of a way. She said, this man had been very rude. He said, have you been... She said he liked to bite me tits, a bastard. And he took his coat off. Christ, he's a nasty sod. She said he never finished there. He said he'd like to pull me knickers off. But that time, this bloke, the veins in his neck was sticking out like ropes. I said, shit. Then she said he never said more than that. Before you kill the bastard, let me tell you what else he said. He said he'd like to put me to stand on my head, fill me Fanny up with Guinness, and drink the bloody lot. He put his coat back on. She said, aren't you going to fight him? He said, I ain't going to fight anybody who can drink that much bloody Guinness. Now, I don't want to be too late tonight because my wife has lost her voice and I don't want to miss it. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what you do, whether you're a comedian, a carpenter, a singer, a taxi driver, a farmer, than what you do. You only get one life, you know. And for the last 10 years, I've probably seen more people than I'll ever see again, or ever want to see again. I've done 170 theatres in England, and I'm getting that I need some time on my own. And you know, if you think back through your lives, there'll be a moment in your life, whether you was a child, a young man or woman, when there'll be you was in a street or coming out of a shop, and there'll be a little moment you'll never forget, and for no apparent reason. If you think back through your lives, there'll be a little moment, and say, I wonder, did I remember that little moment? And I'm sure last Saturday night I shall never forget, because we'd been working in Doncaster, and I got home at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I sat on my own. And I thought, this is just wonderful. Nobody in the world knows where I am. Nobody cares. The telephone won't ring until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I'm going to enjoy these wonderful special moments. It was just me. No theatre managers, tour managers, radio, press, television, nobody. Nobody wanted to know where I was doing. And it was the most beautiful, clear night I think I can ever remember. It was just millions and millions of stars in the sky. And you know, when you sit on your own in your imagination, I just looked at these millions of stars and just tried to imagine how far away they was and what endlessness was. And the human brain just can't comprehend endlessness. But I was trying to think on and on and on, and what was at the end. And you know, as I looked at all these stars, just for a fleeting moment in eternity, as I looked up, I thought to myself, just for a second, I thought, what has happened to the roof of my shit house? That's my little tribute to the late and great Les Dawson. I was Les's story, bloody marvellous comic. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been doing a video here tonight, so I'm going to say goodnight and then I'm going to go off, because we've got to end the video somehow. But I'd like to say what a wonderful night I've had. Not tonight, another night. But facing a crowd like you have done me a lot of good, because I was getting big-headed. But be very, very careful driving back through Taunton tonight. Try to remember that last year in Taunton there was one man being knocked on the roads every 15 minutes. And by Christmas he'd had a bloody guts full of it. Then, Jimmy, you've been a joy to play there tonight, and I hope you found something to laugh at. And thanks for laughing at me, because when you laugh at me, you give me so much more time to think what's coming next. You've been a joy, and I hope one day we'll see you again. For me, it's good night and God bless, and thanks for being a super-duper crowd. Good night and God bless. We'll see you with our Gareth performance. Good night, God bless. We'll come back on Thursday. Good night, God bless.
Jethro, your eyesight any good?
Eyesight's good. My eyesight's out. Can you see?
No, I can see here, but I can't see where it goes.
Oh, I can tell you where. My memory isn't good.
Bad
my
memory.
eyesight's bloody good.
Bad memory.
Bad eyesight's bloody
Come
good.
on about your memory.
I can see from bloody miles.
You can see.
But my memory isn't good.
My eyes are right here, but I can't see over
All right,
there.
I can see it. I can see my eyesight's good. You go on it, but my eyesight's good. The eyesight's good.
Let me know where it goes.
Go on it, the bugger. I said, memory's bad.
Where'd it go? You see it?
I seen it, yeah.
Where'd it go?
I'm buggering if I can remember.
Hello, and welcome to a brand new series, From Rags to Riches. I'm here at Pemberley Manor, the home of Jethro. And I'm going to ask him how he came from virtually nothing to acquire this fantastic amount of wealth. So come with me and find out from the man himself.
Well, here we are. Jethro, tell us, how did you start from virtually nothing to achieve the obscene amount of wealth that you now possess?
Well, it wasn't easy in the first place, of course. I come from a very poor family. Sadly, my father died 2 years before I was born. I was one of 3 children. We was a boy, a girl, and a hairdresser. I always remember as a young boy, I looked out of the flaps in front of our house. We didn't have windows in those days. The lawn was getting rather long, and I said to my mother, bless her heart, I said, how much would you give me to cut the lawn? And she said, I'll give you a 10-shilling note. 10-shilling note to cut the lawn. And I went out and cut the lawn. It was very hard. I never had any money. We never had any money. The whole street never had any money. And I remember I went out and cut that lawn, and as I walked around that lawn with that push mower that kept jamming with the docks, getting into the workings of the damn thing. I thought, I wonder, is there money in cutting lawns? And I cut the lawn, and I thought I did that, and I went to the lady next door, who was an elderly lady, and I said, I'll cut your lawn for a 10-shilling note, and she agreed, and it really started from there. It was very, very poor, and this went on, and I went up and down the street cutting lawns, and then I saved up enough money to buy my own lawnmower, and this was, of course, a major breakthrough and an important part in the very early stages of my empire. And then I started doing other garden work. I started doing borders, and I always remember I painted Mrs. Friggins's gate. Mrs. Friggins is a lovely lady, and she hadn't painted her gate for lots of years, of course. And then I took on a man, and I had a man working with me, and he was helping, and I was charging 10 shillings an hour for him, and paying him 5, so I was getting a little bit of money there. Then I bought, very fortunate, I come across a Morris 1000 van all those years, with an MOT certificate, which was a bonus, of course, in those days, and 4 ball tires. Well, one of them was very good. And I was going from strength to strength. I had a man on now, and I had a van, and this was in the early days, and things was really coming together well, really coming together, and I making a little bit of money. And about this time in my career, an old uncle of mine died, and he left me 15 million quid.
God almighty, I go 350 bleeding mile to talk to a complete and utter tosser like that. What a wanker.